Good morning, guys. So what's been happening? Anything? Any news lately? What's been going on? Alright, I'll tell you one thing. It's cloudy here. I'm glad to... It's one reason I was really glad to get the Rio visit in last night. Yesterday. And you can check out the short opener, the short closer from yesterday. Premiered last night on the Frank Addington YouTube channel. That's what you're watching right now, and I'm going to the traditional biannual psychotic chuckling in the dental chair. It's become a tradition. I'm looking forward to doing it. You guys ready? Last night's feature presentation, Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 2D. Just watched the regular 2D version, 1982. One of these days I'm going to do a full review on all of these films. Friday the 13th. Not really the one I was looking to watch, but it was just the one that was picked. Always kind of liked it, even though it's boring. It's got a lot of filler. Dana Kimmel is the last girl. She remains my favorite as far as looks. For the last girls in the Friday the 13th franchise, she's my favorite as far as the look, as her appearance. But as far as an actress and as far as her ranking as a final girl, she's pretty far down the list in both of those categories. Paul Kratka, she was in Sweet 16, also 1982. Paul Kratka is the love interest, the Carson Palmer looking guy.
You know, his size obviously is and it is an issue. And I think last year, you know, there was some problems with you know, with his coverage on passing plays, but I think it's one of his biggest issues.
All right, you have Tracy Savage and Jeffrey Rogers as one of the most unlikable couples in Friday the 13th. Jeffrey Rogers plays the only Andy in the Friday the 13th universe. Tracy Savage went on to be like a anchor, like a news anchor. Was it in Buffalo? May have been Buffalo. Ask Shalkinator about that. She might still be up there, but then you had the Cheech and Chong couple, kind of like, well, it's the one of them is I think it's Tracy something Howard is their last name, but boy, that's a bad couple. The older couple that goes with them to the place. Catherine Parks as Vera, and of course Larry Zerner as Shelley. Of course, this is the one where Jason gets his hockey mask from Shelley, who had the hockey mask. And Richard Brooker as Jason. Richard Brooker is not one of my favorite Jasons at all. He was a real class act as a guy. Rest in peace. But he has one of my favorite kills in the whole franchise in this movie, and this is not something that I love. Like I don't rank like top, you know, creative kills in the franchise. I'm not like a big fan of that stuff for whatever reason. I mean, they're fine, but I don't get into it that much. But the one where Jason's first kill with the hockey mask, walking out on that dock and taking the spear gun, shooting, just firing it at Vera. Shelley? Who are you? Fires it right at her in 3D, shoots her in the eye, she falls in the lake, then you see Jason take the spear gun, flip it up into the air, like Mark McGuire would with his bat after a home run, and just walks off. Probably the best kill in the whole franchise. Richard Brooker, and it's still kind of the human Jason, which I do like about it. Nick Savage plays Ali. This is kind of one of the more interesting characters in Friday the 13th, because he starts off as a villain. He's one of the biker guys. He's the bald black guy. I think he was in like Fright Night too. I may have seen him. I never saw that movie, but I think I saw him in something else. But kind of a villain type. But then at the end, he turns into kind of a would-be hero. Like he comes out of nowhere in the barn to attack Jason as he's going after Dana Kimmel's character. It's kind of an interesting little twist there. Like, you never see that in any of the other. The only other thing I can think of is Jason like attacking the would-be rapist in Jason Takes Manhattan. It's kind of similar, but Nick Savage, no relation to Tracy Savage, and then I'm trying to think of like, oh yeah, the guy who owns the little what is it, a convenience store, little grocery place, who gets killed at the beginning with a little bunny rabbit. I think I saw him in some TV show one time, but I forget his name. But Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. I watched it in 2D, but that was last night's feature presentation. And nice lead in to Part 4. I forget who plays Mrs. Voorhees, but I do have her on my list. I forget who plays Mrs. Voorhees in Part 3. The ridiculous part at the end where she jumps out of the lake to try to, like, just rehash the ending of Part 1. But this is a good lead into Part 4, which is like the next day. And in Part 4, the final chapter, you do see, like, in the hospital, the morgue place or whatever, where there's a quick shot of a room of like parents from Part 3. I always thought it was really cool. I always wonder whose parents from Part 3 of which characters from Part 3 are they. You see them like being consoled by people, so it kind of gives you a sense of how close those two films are. All right, tonight's feature presentation. I don't know. Pick something good. See you guys later. Maybe tonight. I don't know. Bye.